All right, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Kasper, a co-founder of Acorai. We're a Swedish-founded company, and we are working on what we believe can become the new standard in heart failure management. So just a quick background of the heart failure space. It's a vast global disease area which costs healthcare systems over $300 billion every year. It's affecting 60 million patients globally, and it's a disease which is very difficult in accurately diagnosing and monitoring, which incurs a lot of issues for the healthcare professionals. What this means is that patients are discharged too early often, and up to 50% of patients are readmitted within 6 months of leaving the care facilities. What this, of course, results in is a massive increase in costs for the healthcare system and inefficiencies in the system. So what can you do about this? Well, it's been proven that to improve discharge decisions as well as reduce the number of readmissions with up to as much as 75%, you can do this by measuring the intracardiac pressures, what also can be called the blood pressures within the heart. So if it's so efficient, so why are we not doing that at a massive scale? Well, the thing is that all the current intracardiac pressure monitoring solutions in the market are invasive, namely they require surgery. What this results in is, of course, high costs, which in the end results in limited applicability and widespread use across healthcare systems. So as we were looking at this market, we realized that there's a need for a low-cost, non-invasive, and accurate solution for measuring these pressures. And this is where we come in. We at Acorai, we have developed the world's first non-invasive, handheld, intracardiac blood pressure monitoring device. So it's in the form factor of a smartphone, and it can measure these intracardiac pressures without surgery just by holding the device against the heart for a few minutes. These measurements reach accuracies equivalent of the invasive gold standards, and we believe that this will be able to improve care, improve health outcomes, and save drastic amounts of money for the healthcare systems globally. So how do we achieve this? Well, we're utilizing what we call the patented SAVE sensor technology system, which is a combination of 4 sensor systems: the seismocardiography, acoustic PCG sensors, visual PPG sensor, as well as electrocardiography. The richness of data we gather, combined with machine learning models and the data we gather in our clinical studies from invasive procedures, enable us to present the resulting cardiac insights presented here on the right-hand side, namely right atrial pressures, pulmonary artery pressures, as well as pulmonary capillary wedge pressures. So to give you a bit more background of where we are in the clinical phase. So this is results from our first pilot study, in which we have admitted over 150 patients. With these patient group, we're already demonstrating 95% of our measurement differences falling within the clinically acceptable limits, and that's comparing to the invasive gold standards. We're also showcasing improved performance in identifying congested patients as opposed to the standard of care established as of today. This first study, the pilot study, it's closing down now at the end of the year, and in the beginning of next year, we're starting our larger global generalization study, in which we are populating 550 patients across a wide range of demographies. So we will be able to enable a robust machine learning model in our final product. This is what I like to call the a bit of a bragging slide, but as we realize these initial promising results, we've talked to a lot of cardiologists and people in this space about the results, and I'm not going to go through all of this. If you're in the heart failure space, you might recognize a few of the people, but I will highlight my favorite quote here from Dr. Shalin Rao in the top right corner, who said, "If my hospital doesn't buy this, I'll buy it myself." And to me, that's probably the best verdict you can get from a practitioner. Do note that she said this before joining our clinical advisory board. So it's, just to give you a bit more insight into the overall market size and how it looks. I touched upon it briefly in the beginning of this discussion. It's a major global issue. There are over 60 million patients suffering of heart failure, and the prevalence is growing rapidly, and it's going to continue to grow rapidly over the coming 10 years. We're targeting initial market launch in the US markets already 2024, and we're targeting inpatient use. So we want to get this device into the hands of practicing cardiologists. We want to help them diagnose, triage, and plan treatments for heart failure patients. And for this, there's no reimbursement needed. We're looking to go to market at a pricing level of roughly 7.5 to 10K US dollars, and this includes a subscription cost of roughly 6K per year. In the longer term, we're also having in our R&D pipeline developments of a remote application, so that we will be able to cover the entire end-to-end span for heart failure patients. So having this device in the clinics for cardiologists, but also remotely monitoring patients when they're at home. To give a bit of an overview of what the current market landscapes look like, we categorize our competitors into direct competitors, which are the ones that are able to measure with accuracies equivalent to the invasive gold standard. The only products in this category today, it is invasive remote heart failure monitoring devices. So these require surgery, they come at a high cost, and they're not applicable for inpatient settings. We also have the indirect competitors, which technologies do not really meet the same accuracies as the gold standards. And there we do have a set of non-invasive remote monitoring solutions, which namely only target the remote applications, and they're only designed for single patient use. We also have then the non-invasive in-hospital heart failure monitoring solutions, which we see after discussions with cardiologists are a bit less preferred since they provide indices as opposed to the absolute pressure measurements which we can generate. We're a Swedish co-founding team. It's me, Kasper, Jacob, and Philip, and we've surrounded ourselves with a global a team with global experience in launching cardiology products. We have a world-leading clinical and corporate advisory board, and we are currently in the midst of raising a 10 million round that's going to last us until 2025 and a market reach. We are in interesting discussions with distributor licensees and strategics globally, and if you find me here or want to reach out, feel free to reach out to me or anyone in my team. Thank you very much.